up, family? Welcome back to Brave Talks. My name is Manny Dominguez, and if you've been watching at all, you know that I'm sitting on Marlene's chair, and she's not here because she's actually holding our third baby in her arms right now. So wherever you are, come on, just give it up for her. She's incredible. She did a phenomenal job. Baby came so quickly, and she literally birthed him in our living room in the birth tub, just like she wanted. So I have the best wife ever. And I'm so excited because whether you're watching or listening, today I'm here with one of my bestest friends in the world. This dude and I have, I think, an amazing story that's super compelling. And his name is Josiah. Josiah, how you feeling, my boy?
Good. I'm just a little nervous. This first pod I've ever done. So.
Let's go.
Well, is it? Yeah, it is.
Is it the first pod?
Well, not the first I've shot, but I'm usually on the other side of the camera.
I know. You're on this side of the camera.
Yeah.
Well, tell people a little bit about what you do.
Okay, so I'm the film director here at the church.
Yep.
Also, do you want me to look at you or?
Look at me, bro.
Okay.
We're just talking. They're watching us.
That makes it a
up.
lot easier.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm the film director here at the Hills Church.
Yep.
And I got here because I met you, dude.
Whoa! You're giving them the hook already. I love it. Okay. So yeah, I do want to get into our story. So you're a film director, one of the best I've ever worked with, by the way. Truly, like what you do for the church is amazing. But even outside the church, like the weddings I've seen you shoot, the birthday parties, and even just the short films that you've been a part of, like just for fun when you make stuff is just so cool. Like
Appreciate that, bro.
You used to make workout videos for one of our friends and his brand. And I'm like, this is like movie level. Like, remember we'll talk about like Nike commercials and Under Armour commercials, because really you have such a vision for making art, and I love that about you. But you're also married. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so well, it's funny because you even married us.
Let's go. You're giving them too much. You're giving them too much.
I'm like, what? But yeah, I've been married. It's gonna be what? To 25. It's gonna be 5 years.
5 years.
5 years.
In
Yeah,
April.
In April.
I remember.
April 4th.
Wow.
The nerves almost made me forget. Just kidding.
Wow.
But yeah,
Almost
April 4th,
5 years.
and yeah, it's been a journey. I feel like, I've just grown so much in that time with her, with my wife Paulina.
Yep.
And
she's amazing, by the way.
Yeah, super sweet. I love her. But yeah, just, I've always been like a super emotional type, and just like getting consumed with like letting my emotions dictate how I move and operate. And just being married to her, I feel like that's just been one of the things I've grown huge in, is learning how to manage my emotions and just do life with someone all the time. You're never, I would always like value being by myself and being alone. But now it's like learning to do life with someone else and just manage all your emotions and your thoughts, and in a healthy way, being humble,
Bro, you preaching. Like, it's doing all of that and then doing it so that it, like, because our actions impact that person because they're always with us. Yeah. And so we should do that whether we are married or single. But when you're married and living with somebody, like it's like a new level, because you're sharing. It's almost like you're sharing everything with that person. Yeah. So that's good, bro.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. And you have so much talent. I mean, like, you're a beast trader, like stock trader, and rollerblader. That rhymes. Are you still rollerblading?
Yeah.
When the weather's nice?
Yeah, when the weather's nice, but I've been slacking on it.
Okay.
I'll put them on in the apartment and just kind of like practice my balance.
Let's go. I love you, because one thing I've said about you, and even to you since I met you, is you're so full of life. Everybody in my family that met you, especially at our wedding day, were like, that guy is so full of life. Like, there was a joy that you carry. And at first, and I don't know if our listeners or viewers can relate to this, it seemed fake at first, because I'm like, no one is this happy. No one exudes this much light. And so we're like, that's just not possible. But it's not fake with you, bro. And you even said it like, you wear your heart on your sleeve, like what you see is what you get. And I've loved that about you. So, okay, now let's backtrack in our friendship, because this episode is about community and the importance of community and like authentic community and friendship. And our story kind of begins with me moving here to Texas in 2016. And pretty soon after, like that fall, I joined a local gym in Fort Worth. And I think pretty quickly in me joining, it was like, I feel like my first month at the gym, I walk into the locker room, the men's locker room, to kind of get ready, put my stuff up. And I see somebody like tank top, super ripped and like crazy strong. And like, he's like firing himself up. Like he's like looking at himself in the mirror in the locker room and just kind of, I don't know if it was like a smack or two to the face well.
Probably was.
And you're just getting ready. The pre-workout is hitting. And you're just like, And I think you were listening. Was I listening to a Christian hip hop artist, or were you listening to a Christian hip hop artist?
I don't remember, but I remember you were wearing this basketball jersey where it said 116 on it.
Yes.
And that was the crazy thing.
Yes.
And I don't know if who made the interaction first. Was it you?
I don't know, bro.
I don't remember.
I want to think it's me, but I really don't remember. I just know that we started talking in the locker room there. And again, right there, I'm like, this dude is awesome. Like, you had such an authentic like energy to you. And then we didn't work out together that day though, did we?
No, I don't think we did.
So then I leave the locker room. So you were so cool. You leave because you're ready to go. And the gym was pretty small. And I remember just seeing you like, bro, you do not play around in the gym.
Yeah, no, and I'm surprised I talked to you because, I mean, I just lock in, zone in, just put my headphones on, tune the world out.
Yes, I feel like get angry, get mean, and then just take it out on the weights, really. And so I God is kind because I think before you locked in and zoned out, that's when we had the interaction. Yeah. And then you went in there and did your thing. And I remember watching you, because, I had just mentioned watching you from across the gym, like, that dude is a maniac. Like, that boy, he really, you became a different person when you went to the weights. And it was kind of inspiring for me because I felt like I hit a plateau in my workout ability. And seeing you were just pushing weight that like everybody would just stop and look at you like, this dude is.
Yeah, I was a bit of a little just show off because I was just like, well, also too, I feel like if you're not hurting yourself, well, at the time I felt like if I wasn't hurting myself,
it wasn't working.
Yeah, it wasn't working, watching Arnold and, pumping, what is it? Pumping iron?
Pumping iron, something like that. Yeah, that like epic documentary, iron something. Yeah, bro. So like, that's when we first met. That was the initial draw. And I remember thinking that dude is a beast. If I want to get any kind of strong, I probably got to like see what he does. And then pretty soon after, we met again in the locker room. And then when did we start working out?
Bro, I have
together?
No idea.
I don't know how it happened. This is so cool because I think I met you, bro. It was like October-ish. I remember it was the fall, wasn't it? It was like October. And then we started working out. I think it was before the holidays. I could think a month into knowing each other, you allowed me. Because I think I asked you, bro.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, can we lift
Well,
together?
usually I worked out with bigger guys than me.
Exactly. You were with like Ulrich and some of these other big dudes. I like the biggest guys at the gym and you. And again, even though you weren't as tall as them, bro, you were you were lifting what they were lifting, which is
always
crazy.
Smack, and so I felt like I had something to prove. So
it was like Arnold and his like Matumbo.
Yeah,
I'm blanking on his name.
Franco
something. Colombo.
Yeah,
something like. I feel like, okay, you know who we're talking about, just write it in the comments because I feel like we're close.
Yeah,
I feel like we're close.
Sad I forgot.
But yeah, he's like Arnold's like workout partner who was much shorter but was unbelievably hockey. And anyway, you allowed me to work out with you because I asked, and it was the best workouts and the hardest workouts of my life. We would go like 90 minutes, 2 hours.
Yeah,
and
too long.
Get destroyed. And then after some workouts, I feel like it was just one day, bro. Because, okay, we didn't talk a lot while we were working out, but then afterwards, we'll go in the locker room and be spent. And there's something about like the post-workout, you kind of gave it all, you left it all on the floor, gave it all you had. That like, there's like a moment where like, I feel like my walls are really down. And I don't know if anybody does exercise and you can relate to this, so you kind of leave it all. If you're a basketball player or an athlete of any kind, when you like leave it all there, you kind of feel bare and vulnerable. Yeah. And I remember after one of our sessions, we go back into the locker room and we just start talking, bro. And I don't know if I opened up first or you opened up first.
I don't know. I feel like so I had moved back from California just before, meeting you and stuff. And so
you had stuff going.
Yeah. And
you could share whatever you want to share, but I remember that.
I just had no one else like to talk to really because I was working at a warehouse at the time and like, I mean, you do your job and then you're done. And so you were someone that like I was able to actually like talk to and I felt like I could get some good wisdom back because I knew you were working at a church at the time.
That's right.
And because you told me. And then I wasn't going to church at that moment, you know? And so, but I grew up in church and I've always been in church. And so you were someone that like, I just trusted, and I felt like he would give me some sound wisdom, and like, cause I was going through a breakup at the time. And so it's just, and I was using the gym to like, you know, block out everything. And so,
so good,
you know, like finally, and I was just beating myself up, you know, like in the gym to like cope with everything. And so, you know, after the workouts and stuff, those walls would come down, and then, you know, it's just like, yeah, I remember crying in the car with you, bro. I remember it was like it was yesterday, man. Just we were in the car and we were, I don't know what, I think you were driving me to my car. I don't remember.
No, like we were talking, and I remember we spoke in the locker room, and it was emotional. Like we like connected on these things, and then we were walking to our cars like to leave.
Yeah,
because I think this was a night workout. I can't remember, but I remember it was dark.
Yeah,
it was dark, and I actually think, at the time, because you were single, I think like your gym crush, remember, like she had come out. This is years ago. She had come out, and you're like, I don't care, like, because we were so emotional, like we were like crying.
Yeah.
And I remember I'm like, get in my car, like just get in. And you got in my passenger seat, bro. And
man, I was balling. I remember putting my face in my backpack. I don't even remember I was crying so hard.
Bro.
But yeah, I was going through it, dude. And I just remember like, yo, this is someone I could be like completely raw and open with, and you just made me feel safe, bro. And like I was just able to like pour my heart out more than I usually do. You feel me? And so, yeah, that was crazy.
No, that moment of connection, I'm telling you. I remember, I like you, don't remember what all we spoke about that night. I don't know what we prayed about that night, but I remember that moment in my car, bro, being so sacred and so holy. Like we're in the middle of a gym parking lot in my little 2-door coupe, and I felt like we were in a different place, if that makes sense what I'm saying, because I felt so honored. And this is why community is so important. I felt so honored because you just said like you felt safe and like you could trust. And I think if anybody has awareness, I felt like I was carrying that in my hands, and I didn't want to drop it. I didn't want to mess it up. And I felt the honor of like sharing in this moment with you. I feel like you could have chosen anybody else in the world, but I had like the privilege of being there with you, bro. And like seeing the real, raw, who you were in that season of your life. You, no mask, no filter, no like, I'm good, I'm good. It's like, no, this is boom.
Yeah. And it's tough, dude, because like, I mean, we talked about this where I've shared with like how hard it is for me to even, you know, you hear in church all the time, people are like, oh, community, get in community groups. And I'm always like, man, I'm all about the organic when it just happens. And with you, it was just so organic. And even just, I mean, just the journey of just being a friend, you know, and like learning to like trust someone and not get offended or not like take anything the wrong way. Cause that was me. Like I would get like super butthurt over like all the little things and stuff. And so I'm just like, oh no, keep people at bay, you know, like I don't want to let no one in. Cause
I don't want to get hurt.
I don't want to get hurt. And in my head too, after the breakup and stuff, I was in a mind state of like, you know, people just come and go, and you know, and I feel bad because I've let go of friends and stuff here and there where the friendship probably didn't have to end, but I don't know. And I feel like I've grown in that way of not seeing friendships as that. Like it doesn't mean it, you know, you have to let it wither away because something was said that your feelings are hurt or whatever. It's just like, yo, we're human and we say things sometimes. We don't I say things and I'm sure I hurt people's feelings all the time, you know?
No, I think that's good, bro. I think friendships need to be worth fighting for.
Yeah.
But then like what makes them worth fighting for? Because there are other friendships, to your point, and members of our community that we may be allowed in to trauma bond in a season that we were like in our lowest, or we allowed in that looking back, we're like, man, I love you and I want the best for you, but you're not what's best for me right now. And I don't think we're good for each other. So I think there is some wisdom, and also, you know, like not all friendships we take to the next chapter of our lives. And that's why we really got to honor and fight for the ones that we do. And I think you can discern that if people are wondering like, yo, how do I know, Josiah, which friendships I should fight for and which friendships I need to probably let go of? While you think about that, I think one thing they can maybe look for is like, is this friend or is this person somebody that like points you to beauty, that actually wants the best for you. Like as you look at when y'all spend time together, is there value being exchanged? Or after each hangout, each interaction, you kind of feel like, I had fun, but I don't necessarily feel like a better version of myself. I think that's a marker to know and discern how to like fight for a friendship or maybe walk away from it. Do you have anything that comes to mind off the top?
Yeah, I would say, damn, there was something that was in my head and then it went away. Your question was,
like, how do you know which friendships you should like fight for?
Okay, so one of the things I would do is like, whenever I found myself getting hung up on a moment or something I said and I was like feeling dumb or overthinking, because I overthink a ton, I would just ask God, like, God, can you help me see through the noise and see what to be true? Like, what do I know? What do I know of this person's character, and what do I know? Like, just assessing the facts, not any story I'm making up in my head, you know, because so much of it would be like me making up, like, interpreting a scenario or a sentence the wrong way, you know?
So good.
And then I'm just like, and wait, no, I don't know that. That's not true about that person. You know, my mind's making up stuff that I know, like, you know, that don't make any sense. And and so I use that as
but they feel real in the moment. That's what's crazy about the inner workings of our mind. It's like, I'm projecting what could be, but this makes a lot of sense. It's like I'm connecting A to B. And so even if it is not really, really true and I can't prove it yet, I feel like it will be proven in time. And so we hold on to our story because it just feels right. But keep going.
And so I use that as a gauge. And then, but on top of that, like, you know, kind of like what you're saying, like when you hang out with someone, like how do I feel afterwards? And am I just like, am I enjoying this time? But then also too, it's like, I don't know. Cause I wrestle with that. Cause I'm like, there are people that I've been around that like, I'm like, no, I feel like I should be a part of this person's life.
This
you know?
is good. This is gonna be the next phase.
You know, to be that light or whoever, whoever God. I mean, God's obviously aligned our paths. I feel
right.
You know, so it's like I must. And you even told me too. Like, think about like, you know, how the room shifts when you're in the room. You know, like you might be that avenue that someone might need to like, you know, lift up their day, or I don't know, just someone like how you were for me that one day in the parking lot, you know, being someone just needs someone to listen, you know? And so, and just learning to like listen and not carry that is another big thing too. Cause I would always like feel like I have to empathize so deeply with whatever it is with the person, maybe not empathize, but I felt like I would have to mirror.
You have to carry it.
You carry it and then I would like mirror it, you know? So if I was with someone and they were like really emotional, I would try to like take on their feelings, and then I would inevitably start crying or feeling that deep of an emotion, and that wasn't healthy. So like I've learned, you know, I've learned not to do that too. And so that's helped me have friendships that maybe I'm not getting a lot out of, but I'm like, it's okay. Like I feel like even like with friendships, like sometimes there is a sacrifice, right? Like,
absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Like, you're going crazy right now.
Well, it's just how Jesus is with us, right?
Yes,
like,
bro.
But yeah.
Yo, you said so much good stuff in there.
My mind's bouncing around.
I know people got pen and pad. I hope they do, unless they're like driving or something. But there was so much stuff that you said that I'm like, goosh. One of the things I want to point out, Sai, that you said that was so good was the dynamic, which I wanted to say like in our next phase of conversation about, it's not just what's in it for you. When you're gauging, man, is this person a part of my community? Should I work or fight for this relationship or friendship? It's not just, well, but they don't do anything for me, because that's such a selfish way of looking at it. And I think sadly, especially in circles that I used to run in New York City and a lot of people that I know in LA, like, because those cities are so volatile and so competitive, you almost use friendships as a stepping stone to get to the next level. And that sucks, bro. Yeah. Like you should not use people to get to the next level or like the connection to get to the connection to get to the whatever you want. And so, yes, you just said something that was so good. It's not just, man, what can I get out of this? It's like, God, are you calling me into this dynamic? Yeah. Jesus, you said it. Jesus did it for us. Like, he didn't really get much from his followers, from his disciples at first. Like, what? Like, they didn't even understand his call. They couldn't get that he would come down and die. They thought that he should come down and kill, get rid of the oppression from Rome, like redeem us, make us kings. Don't come and be a servant. What are you doing? So I think case in point that if Jesus came to serve and not to be served in our friendships, we ought to have that same posture, have that servant's towel, and also make sure that we're not being taken advantage of.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And like being, and that's what I want to talk about that too. Like in our friendship, bro, I want to say this to you. Like you helped me see what true service is like. Like, bro, you would do favors for people. Like as we got closer and closer after gym sessions, and then we started hanging outside the gym, and then we went to Golden Corral. Dear God, what were we thinking, bro? You remember this day?
Yeah.
After a workout, it was late. This is before I had kids, and before you were married, and I was a newlywed. So it was like we were kind of living our best lives, just running around the city. And we had a late workout, like 2 hours long. And we were starving.
Oh yeah,
we're famished. We're broke. We're like, man, what can we eat right now? Like, get back for a
Golden
buck.
Corral.
And you said Golden Corral. You led us astray.
It was better
night.
when I was a kid.
Bro, we go to GC and we just eat our face off, and it was awful. And my toilet paid the price that night. Someone paid the price, and it was my guest bathroom toilet. It was brutal. Anyway, in these hangs, bro, I would see the way you would like serve your family, like the calls you would make. And I had the honor of even going with you to like see you do favors for people. And I'm just like, this kid is like, you are authentically, like that is your heart. Like you want to serve people. And I think, and you can speak to this, please correct me if I'm wrong. I think what I was able to speak into, that's what you helped me with in my life. I'm like, I got to be more of a servant, like authentically just serving with nothing in return. And what I think I was able to speak into for you was like, bro, you have so much to offer already, like with who you are, that serving is good. But I feel like at some points you feel like you have to serve somebody so that they can value you. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, that's amazing. Serve, but you have so much value in who you are. Like in our friendship, I'm like, I just love that you're my friend. Like our conversations, our time together were A1 steak sauce. That all like you taking me to the airport for my speaking engagement. Everything you did for me was just icing. It was just like, if you can, it was not the crux or the depth of the value you add. Would you agree with that notion?
Yeah, well,
at the time of your life?
It's just like, thinking about like our friendship and like just how you were there for me in like an emotional state. It's like, man, I just wanted to be able to help you in any way, like just to return the favor, just like, but not even that. It's just like, it's not like a favor or like making it even or something.
You just want to add value. And then you're like, I want to make.
Yeah, I want to trying to make you feel like how you made me feel, and felt seen, and heard. And
it took you time, but I think over like the years of our friendship, I and other people that love you were trying to make the point of like, Sai, you do. You do make me feel seen, loved, and heard. Like just who you are, like, you're enough.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, because I mean, like you said, it can become a thing where it's like, if we're not careful, it's like now I'm building our friendship off of like all the things I'm doing for you or whatever, and it's like it took me some time to like break from that. Like it took a hot minute.
I think so many people can relate to that though, bro, and that's what we do in Brave Talks. We talk about things that require some courage because it's kind of sucky to admit for me, like. Yeah, like I kind of place value on what I do for people. And then maybe in my subconscious, I will never say this, but I kind of place value on what they do for me. And so if I'm building a community or a friendship on works and not just like the value of our time together, then what happens when I can't show up as much or when these people can't show up for me as much? Am I going to begin to think that they don't love me as much or that they are less valuable? And so I love that over time we were able to say like, like, this is just like what we do for each other is just a fruit of who we already are to each other,
Well, and I mean, to that, like I remember when you got married and stuff, and you got busier and stuff, we started seeing each other less, and the enemy was trying to get in my head of like, oh yeah, see, you guys aren't really friends, or you guys aren't. And there were so many times, bro. I would type up a message to you, and I'd be like, no, I'm not gonna send it because he's moved on,
Oh, man, this is so real.
But it's like, and then over time, like I realized, like, no, I know Manny. I know he loves me, and I remember those times that we were in the car. I remember those talks after the gym. I remember those, those times, and like I remember all that to be true, and none of that has changed. It's just what I'm now telling myself has changed.
Yeah,
it's like, and because life happens, we get busy and stuff, and it's just like. I could either be miserable and keep making up these stories that I know not to be true, or I could accept what's true and, you know,
take the risk and engage again.
Yeah, and engage again.
I love this because I feel like this is more common among women talking this way. And I love that us as men, we're like having the brave talk to say, yeah, bro, like I was a little in my head and I did get emotional. And as like life happened and seasons changed, for me, it's pride. And then maybe for you, it could be insecurity.
Yeah.
But you know how like those are the same things? That's what's crazy. How like pride is just the other side of insecurity and vice versa. I'll unpack a little bit. So like, and I think we've spoken about this before on a plane, on a flight somewhere, but like when I'm prideful, I'm trying to protect myself from hurt in a way that's esteeming myself more and like, you know, maybe puffing myself up so that I don't deal with what I probably need to deal with or hurt or deal with the hurt that I have. When I'm feeling disproportionately insecure, I'm sinking to the like level of, man, like am I enough? And so I'm questioning, I'm like, I don't want to say the word victimizing, but I'm like creating a protective shell around my lack so that I don't have to do or deal with what I probably need to do and deal with. And so they're like opposite sides of the same coin. My pride and ego or my insecurity, my lack of capacity or my insufficiency is actually both keeping me from beauty and truth all in the same and from who I really am. And so I feel like it's crazy. I feel like we have the opposite sides of the same coin. And that kept us from maybe engaging in that seasons of transition.
Yeah. And you said something so good right there. Like it keeps us from the beauty of it, right? Because so much of me would want to like just, you know, put my headphones back on, zone out the world and be like, you know what? Put that shell back up, not deal with those things, but you miss out on the beauty. You know, you miss out on like getting to drive. Yeah, I remember driving your wife and the bridesmaids to your wedding.
So let's talk about this. This is a perfect segue. So, dude, I meet you in like October-ish. My wedding was in February. And so, but that goes to show because you had just got back from California. You were working a bunch of hours at the warehouse and going to the gym and going crazy. And that was your life. And I was working at the church, but I had no friends either outside the church. And I'm all about, I need friendships outside the church. Like I love people in the church, but church culture could be weird. Like I just want to say that. If we are people in a local church that are not being involved with people that are not in the local church, you're missing out. I mean, that's case in point. You're missing out. Whether you think you're too good for people that don't go to church, or you're insecure and you feel like you're gonna mess up, or the world is gonna get you, or you know you're gonna fall into bad ways. Like either way, you're missing out on beauty to that point. So. Bro, we were so good for each other in that season because I needed a friend, you needed a friend, and we both wanted to work out and get jacked. So from October-ish until pretty much Christmas time, which I remember you went to New York that January. Do you remember this? You went with your family New Year's Eve to New York. Because I remember you telling me in the locker room, like, bro, I'm going to go. And you went like for a week. And I'm like, what? You just went. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
That was the first time I got to see your world.
Yes. And it was so cool because we had just met. Like, I'm going. And at that point, I felt like we already had so many deep conversations. We were listening to like worship music in one of our cars after the gym, and crying and connecting, like building a brotherhood, bro. Like, we were like God sends for each other. I'm just going to name it like, well, you were for me, bro, like somebody outside the church that I could just be real raw with. It was unbelievable.
And bro, and it was so perfect too because I had stayed away from church for so long too because of that, what you were just saying of like, you know, there's a front you put up and stuff. And then also too, I put up a front, you know, just because it was like growing up in church, you know how to act and you know like the things to say and, you know. But like with you, I was like, oh, okay, this dude is just himself. And I could be myself. You know, and like be a little, say things off the wall or whatever.
We were wacky, bro, but we were there. Like we were there for each other. And so much so that pretty much, and I kept telling Marlene about you. My you know, you guys know Marlene, who was just my fiance at the time. And like, after like our late night sessions or whatever, she'll be texting me and I'll finally get home. I'll call her back. She's like, what were you doing? I'm like, babe, this is a guy named Josiah. We just cried for 2 hours. We connected. We're like busy. Like, and she loved you without knowing you because of the breakthrough that I was having in my life. So my wife to be is like, whoever this dude is is amazing because breakthrough that I could, this is key, yo. This is why community is so important. Breakthrough that I could not necessarily experience in my romantic relationship, I was getting from a brother. This is profound. Like what you were doing for me, just as a broski, was unlocking things in me. And bro, I was being unguarded with you as a bro in a way that I was maybe too prideful to be with my wife to be, because I didn't want her to see certain parts of me that were still broken.
Yeah. Wow.
But you're my bro, and you like I gave you access to that brokenness, and because of our relationship and our commitment to like healing and beauty and like being the men God wants us to be on the journey, like I feel like you as a friend, bro, helped heal parts of me that were broken even before I got married, which is legit.
Wow.
And that's why community is so important.
Yeah, it is.
Because you did that for me. So we're having so much breakthrough. We're loving being together. We're spending probably way too much time together, like after work at the gym and everything. And pretty much by Christmas time, I invite you to my wedding.
Yeah.
Oh, you go to New York and come back. I'm like, man, I'm getting married. It's going to be in Texas in a couple months. Like, could you come? You're like, yeah, bro, for sure. And then like, what? Like, it was like a week before the wedding. Marlene already had moved to Texas because she moved to Texas just 3 weeks before our wedding. Yeah. Which we got to do an episode on just the craziness of our wedding because it was awesome.
That was wild, yeah.
And so I remember we're there for a workout one day in the locker room, and I think I asked you. Did I ask you?
I don't even know how it came up, but I was like, yo, my dad has a giant excursion. Like,
yes, we needed. I tell Sai, I'm like, bro, we need a vehicle to basically transport Marlene and her bridesmaids from like my house where they were all getting dressed and taking pictures to the venue. Yeah. And bro, again, your servant's heart. You're like, bro, my dad has a big vehicle. He has an excursion. Like, I could do it. Yeah. I said, really? Because so many of Marlene's girlfriends don't drive because they're New Yorkers. Oh, yeah. So I was like, it really wasn't me. Like so many of them didn't drive.
I was driving really safe.
Yeah, you were, bro. You were literally bringing the bride and the bridesmaids to the venue. That's such a big role. And like, I just met you like 6 months before. But again, it was like, I trusted you. Like there's people in your community that you are gonna encounter that it just clicks. Yeah. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's not everybody. Like me and Sai are still saying, hear me, community takes work. We put in the work, bro. Yeah. And we also had that click, that spark that I'm like, this guy, I'll die for this dude right now. Yeah. And so praise God for those connections and, continue to like harvest those. But I would argue most people in your community, that's just not true of. Like, you got to just work at it. But you were one of those guys for me, man. So I trusted you 100%. And because I trusted you, Marlene was like, okay, I trust him too. And I think you probably met her like once or twice before driving her to the venue.
Yeah. That was wild.
That was wild.
I can't believe it. Yeah.
But again, bro, it shows your trustworthiness. Like you're punctual, you're there on time. Like I think about even after the wedding, and we'll talk about that some more. How like when I ask you the favor, like, bro, you're my closest friend. Can you take me to the airport? I gotta fly to LA for whatever. Bro, and it'll be like an embarrassing flight time where I'm like, hey, my flight leaves at like 6 a.m. Can you be, what it's like, I gotta ask you to be at my house at 4 a.m., which is like, only real friends do that. And because you didn't want to be late and you didn't want to miss it, what would you do?
I would sleep in my car. I would go there early, sleep in my car, and wait for the time.
Come on, like Ben, our producer, like he's done that for you. Like he's nodding behind the camera. Like this guy, bro, you've done that for just all your closest friends. Shout out Taylor Walling. Like I just like all of us that you've built relationships with. You're like, yeah, I'm not gonna be late. I'm gonna pull up to your house and sleep in my car until it's time to get you. It's incredible, bro. So you take my wife, you take the bridesmaids to the wedding. Tell me about the wedding from your perspective, because I want to tell you a little bit about what people thought about you. But what'd you think,
man? I just remember just being a giant family, dude. Like everyone like from New York, it was just hanging out with like my friends. Wow. Like I felt like I immediately knew all of them. It's like, everyone. And it's just, getting to see how you guys loved each other and seeing your community from New York and see how tight y'all were, and then how special it was that you guys would invite me into that space and stuff. Because I remember you had like a little building off to the side where you guys were hanging out before the wedding, and so I got to hang out in there with y'all, and so it was just like, man, I don't remember the specifics, but I just remember everyone just being happy and like the weather was nice. We're hanging out outside and just but yeah, it was just, I was like, man, these are just an extension of my family.
Let's
like,
go.
And yeah.
Well, and it was dope for me because I had spoken about you to so my bros from New York that I just left, that I journeyed with those men. You know what I mean? Like we became men together. And so to leave your best friends, that's hard, bro.
Yeah.
But I was telling them about you. I'm like, yo, bros, like I can't wait for y'all to meet Josiah. And so when they saw you at the wedding, they're like, oh, like, bro, we're in that, like, it was like the groom suite with the pool table and everything. And they're seeing you and they're like, bro, this guy is amazing.
Well, and just even seeing how much they love you too. I was like, dang, like, okay, my love for him is like, I'm not the only one.
Right, it's valid. Like, I'm not weird. Like, I'm not creepy. Like, we're all here. Bro, that's so cool. Like, my father-in-law, Marlene's dad, bro, he talks about you to this day.
Oh,
I don't know what all connections y'all had at the wedding, but he doesn't even know English super well. But dude, like, they would, on the dance floor, you were just cutting a rug. You going crazy. Like, if you're just listening to this, I'm like vibing on the couch right now. But
I
like,
was trying, but y'all are real dancers.
well, yeah,
so.
I have a lot of real dancers in my what bro, what my people loved about you is that you didn't hold back. You were like that. You were doing like your special worm thing and your hip thrust. I said, "Si, you better chill now." And you were singing back then too. So it was just a movie. Like it really, you just fit right into the community. Not because you were like everybody else, but because you authentically wanted to love everybody as they were. And that's what I want to say about community. I love that as I look around my friends, and it's true of your community too, because we share the same community groups and friendships. Like they're so diverse, ethnically, age-wise, personality type, and I love that. Like I think that's beautiful. You know, like if your context is diverse, like allow your friendship to be diverse, even with the kinks that comes with. You feel me?
Yeah.
Because
and you have to be okay with being uncomfortable.
that's it.
You know what I mean?
When people
like,
aren't like you, and you're like, I don't really like that.
Or even think the same too, because I love having friends that just can think like on all different kinds of sides, and just because it's like, man, if we're
that
just
takes maturity though, bro.
Yeah, it does. And you know, because it's such a boring life if you just keep, you know, the same. And maybe it's not boring, maybe it's comfortable, you know,
boring.
But it's boring. But it's just like, it's so much, I don't know, it's fun, you know. It's like if you want like magic to happen, or like you know, it happens when you least expect it, and with maybe who you least expect it with, you know. And you can have these deep moments with anyone, and sometimes you can allow that person to come out of their shell in a different way that someone in their circle might not, you know. And so it's just like, put yourself out there, you know.
That's
and so
good.
I
take
just
the risk.
Yeah, and take the risk, you know. Like, be okay. You might get your feelings hurt, you know, but it's okay. You're gonna be fine, you know. Like,
wow. Okay, and that's gonna be a part of the brave step that I want everybody to take. And before we get there, I want to kind of finish like our arc of friendship so far, because it's so dope. So wedding was lit. You connected with everybody. Everybody loves you so much so, and we'll get to this in a sec. But like, bro, my quote unquote friends are your friends. Does this make sense?
Yeah,
like,
I'm still keeping
like,
contact with them.
like y'all don't need to talk through me to talk. Like y'all talk just y'all. And that's the beauty where like, when we love the same people, then our loves for other people grow, and then connects and shifts like that. After the wedding, then we continue to build, boom, transition happens. And then you developed a love. You've always had a love, but now you picked up a camera. Yeah. I'm just so honored that I got to see this whole kind of arc in your life. So you're working at this warehouse, you're grinding, but then you also pick up a camera and you have a natural eye, bro, for photos, for videography. My wife, who had become an influencer, we didn't even call it that then, but her platform was growing. And I remember early on in our marriage, again, like just within those few months, I'm like, babe, like you got to shoot with Si. And then y'all shot together. And then that was good for you because you're like, I want to grow in this thing. And you had that natural gift and you started building a brand. Shout out ISO Si Studios. And literally over time, you're like, man, I kind of want to do this. And so you shot like secondhand. Is that what it's called? Secondhand? Like for
like second shooter,
second shooter, you see? Second shooter. For other people. Yeah. But then again, bro, you started getting nasty while working at this other job. And a job opportunity was made available at the Hills. Yeah. Am I skipping anything? This is like the trajectory, right?
No, you're right.
And so I don't know. I kind of go, I just tell you. I mean, I didn't. You see, and it's in community. I'm like, I don't want to make it weird. I don't want Josiah to think that I want him to join my church, or because at the time,
I didn't even see it that way. Yeah,
I know, but in our heads, we start because
Yeah.
at the time, like, bro, we were having you were coming to my house for Bible study.
Yeah.
Like, we were growing in our faith and as men without necessarily like the religion or the religious institution or the local church necessarily.
Yeah, I wasn't even coming to the church. I haven't.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't think I came to the church.
You weren't going to the church. I don't
No.
think you had been up here yet.
No.
And so, like, when you were going to church, it was like with your family somewhere where your family was going, at the time, which is dope. And I remember I'm like, okay, I'm not going to overthink it. I'm just going to ask him. I trust him. Like, I'm willing to put my name on you as a recommendation or as a reference, but we'll see. So I tell you about a job opening at the Hills, at the church for, I think it was just, what was like video?
It was like videographer.
Okay.
Yeah, like a videographer.
Yes. And then maybe like early editing with that role, but it was mostly videographer. And, anyway, I just tell you about it. And what did you think, bro, when I told you about that?
Man, I remember I had just got my first camera maybe like a few months before that.
It's early. Yeah, but you're nasty at it. So I'm like,
and so I remember you telling me about it, and man, I remember, good thing I was a little naive, because at first I was like, yeah, I'm gonna win an Oscar one day. I'm gonna do all these things. I just was like, my head's in the clouds, like,
I love that
I could
about
do this.
You though, yeah.
And then I was just like, yeah, sure. And so I applied for it. I don't even know how I applied for it. You might have.
I might have sent you like the actual link.
Yeah.
To like actually apply, and then
they took a chance on me.
Yep.
Like, I can't believe, like, shout out Ryan, Christian, and Taylor Walling. They took a chance on me. And yeah, and the rest is history. Like, even met Ben, the one who's producing this. Like, and we started at the same time, and but I had no idea what I was doing.
Right.
Like, I remember getting here and seeing the work that the guy before me was producing, and I was like, oh my gosh, what did I get myself into? Like, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Because you literally, like, you were like, I remember us praying together about it, like, while you were in the interview process, and I just felt like, bro, this is like your next step. I don't know what I was going to lead to. I don't know how long you're going to be there for, but I felt like it was like a next step in your career.
Yeah.
I just felt like that.
Yeah. And it's crazy, like, I mean, like, even like, I want to say like a year and a half or 2 years ago, I finally feel like I know what I'm doing.
It's amazing.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
bro.
Maybe in the past year, but I'm finally feel like I'm making stuff I'm proud of. Whereas back then I was just like, man, there were times I'd be editing and I'd just be like having so much anxiety because I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing and stuff.
And you're really hard on yourself, which I think has served you well. And I feel like I'm the same way. I'm really hard on myself. And when we don't steward that well, it doesn't serve us. We become we paralyze ourselves, don't we?
Oh, yeah.
As creatives, bro, I mean, you and Ben are more creative than I am, but I love the arts. You know that about me. And whenever I'm making poetry or even writing a sermon for a Sunday or, doing a dance choreo or whatever, I just never think it's good enough. I mean, I never think it's done. I never think it's good enough. I mean, and that's why I just trust the Lord, because I'm like, okay, well, it's Sunday now and I got to preach this message, or I got to do this thing, or I got to perform this thing, or I got to... so it's just time to do it. So you got to release it. Yeah. But I never feel like it's done.
Well, and that's the beauty of getting to do it for God, because it's kind of like, God, like, I'm never going to make it perfect, but here it is. And like, bless it if you can.
But you're perfect, so why don't you breathe on it? I like that.
God.
I like that. Remember we would say that all the time? I like that. We were just like in each other's ears, like mid-set on the bench press. I like that.
My sweat dripping on you.
Your sweat dripping on me. And I'm like, I like that. But like, wait, I don't like your sweat. I do like that. Anyway. Bro. Okay, so then you get the job. You begin a journey. It's a beautiful journey. And then through that, you didn't have to start coming to the church, but you do. Like, you kind of slowly start coming to the church, and you have these amazing bouts with your faith that, bro, I'm telling you, community is so important for so many reasons. I think we've established that. Yeah. Another reason is where I was in my journey, in my faith, and then where you were in your journey, bro, you helped me so much. I hope I've told you this enough, because the questions you were asking, the doubts you were having, it sparked a fire in me to address, like, what do I actually believe about that? What you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's not that like nobody was higher than nobody else. It's just like where we were on our own journeys, actually, I felt like we helped each other grow.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah, and, Well, because even coming back to the church, like, and started working for the church, it was so different because it's like I said, I knew how to move and operate in a church, and I knew how to act. And
But you didn't want to play that game anymore.
but I didn't want to play that game, and there came a point too where I was just having all these feelings of anxiety and just insecurity, all these things going, like feeling depressed and all this stuff. And so, and there came a breaking point where I was just like, yo, I feel so conflicted inside because here I am working for God, but I'm wrestling with all this stuff, and that's okay. But like, I was like, it's not okay. Like I need to surrender. I need to, there's a part of me that I haven't given to God yet. And it was my heart. Like I was like, I'm giving him my time, I'm giving him my actions, but I haven't given him my heart. Ooh. And so like, thankfully there were so many people here at the church that like I could open up with, and people you introduced me to and stuff. And I remember it was either Adam or Ross I had a conversation with, and I was just like, man, like I feel like I'm having an identity crisis.
I remember it was Ross.
Yeah, and so
Shout
I was just
Ross.
like, I forget what was said or something, but I remember him just listening and just being there for me, and just being able to be real and vulnerable.
Yep.
And
he helped you put language. And I feel like he even like got on his like little whiteboard thing, and he helped you put language to like who you are and then what you do and how like
because so much of my identity was now being tied to what I was doing, when that isn't good either, you know. First in a way, like my idol was lifting weights, and then it had become like my job and what I was doing. But it's like, oh no, that's not where my identity is tied to, you know, because then it's like, am I as good as my last video? You know what I mean? And that was very great. Well, recently it is. I'm proud of that.
Yeah. but it's to that point of like, you know, what does little Cray say? Like if you live for the acceptance of things, then you die from their rejection.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's so true. Like even in things or even in people. Oh my gosh. Okay. So then you get a job, you're crushing it. And then, like you said, like, I mean, I get married, I have my first kid, and then 2020 comes around. And I think a little bit before that, you meet your now wife.
Yeah.
And you tell me about her, you bring her to Bible study. I'm like, first of all, she's way too pretty for you, which is a good thing. I mean, it's the same is true for me, same is true for Ben. Our wives are way too pretty for us. Bless. You don't believe in God? Look at my wife. Like, how we get that? And I'm like, dude. So I'm like, so you know, I became like the defensive big bro. Like, she's way too pretty for you, and like, why? Like, why does she want to be with you? You know what I mean? I'm like a little bit defensive.
It's funny because she's jealous of you. She's like, you're hugging him way too long.
Right.
He's the bro.
Yeah, he's the bro. And so I remember, like in the early phase, after getting to know her, I'm like, bro, Paulina's just the best. She's just the best. She's authentic. She's real.
Oh, no, it's so good what you were saying too about like having another person asking questions, because she was new to her faith. So she was asking a lot of, you know,
that
questions.
Challenged you.
Yeah, where I was just like,
wow,
what do I actually believe?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like I hadn't thought that deeply of some of the questions she was asking, like, because she was just totally new to the faith, and she was like, okay, you're okay with that, but why are you okay?
This?
Yeah, like, and I'm like, oh,
and she had a hunger for the Bible that I don't think you even had, bro.
Oh yeah, no, she upped it like another notch, because although I was working here at the time, like I wasn't coming every Sunday just because I had a lot of anxiety coming to a big church and stuff like that. I don't know what was going on in my brain, but she was just like, hey, you work for a church, you're not going every Sunday? And I'm like, oh. And so I was like, let's go. And so because of her, we started coming more. Incredible. And she just has, and she still challenges me every day, you know? And so,
so then y'all like y'all get engaged, y'all like plan this wedding, and COVID. I mean, it's COVID time.
COVID shut it down. You know, we were gonna have a wedding, and then we were like, well, we still want to get married, and we were like, okay, well, what are we gonna do? And so we got married in the park. You married us. There's 6 of us there. You know,
Instagram live. Like I went live so that people. Yeah, Ben was on the live, and a bunch of people tuned in. You know, because it was early in the. I mean, it's April 4th. It's like early in the like shutdown. 6 feet 4th, 2020. Man, but really, what an honor for me, bro, as your bro, to be able again. I'm not gonna get emotional right now. And I probably need to, because again, I'm trying to work on my pride. So brave talks, here we go. But like meeting you when I did in 2016, bro, end of 2016. I mean, we were both in our 20s, early 20s. Were you 20 at that time? I was 21.
Yeah, I was.
You were like a year younger than me, I think.
Yeah.
You were probably about to turn 21 that February.
Yeah.
Because your birthday's in February, right?
Yeah, February. It's
see?
25. I'm 30 now. I was 25.
Yeah.
Wait.
No.
Oh, wait. What are you talking about?
When I met you in 2016, not in 2020.
Okay, there. I thought I was thinking about the wedding.
Yeah. So, anywho's, meeting you then, like just early 20, like figuring it out. Journey. Okay.
Yeah.
Work at the church. Okay. Find your calling with the camera. Okay. Crush it. Okay. And then woman you love, being able to officiate that wedding 2020. So, oh my gosh. Now,
Man, bro, I'm telling you, you made me emotional. You know, I've cried a ton already.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just remember always looking to you and just being like, man, that's the kind of man I want to be, you know,
dear.
and just the husband you are, and now the father you are, which you know, congrats on your third.
Thank you, man.
So it's just, you know, it's just. And that's what's beautiful about having friends, you know. You get to see Ben too, and the father he is. It's just like, it's beautiful, and it challenges you, you know, kind of like being back in the gym, you know, where you're having someone stronger around, you know. It's like, it's important to have people around that you could look to be like, yo, I want to strive to be better. I want to strive to be like that, you know. And so, but yeah, we
do that for each other.
Yeah, we do that for each other, man.
I love you, bro. My gosh.
I love you too, man.
So your brave step this week, my goodness, because if we keep going, I'm gonna weep on this mic right now.
I'm gonna start crying.
Yeah, maybe this week. I mean, you heard all the reasons why community is so important and why friendships should be fought for, and maybe some friendships need to be walked away from, and that's okay. But this week, maybe you take inventory. Who are the people that you are allowing to speak into your life? What are the voices that you have most nearest and dearest? Take inventory of that. Maybe if you're a person of faith, ask the Lord, like, what are you calling me to in this friendship? Is it to deepen it? Maybe to lead it, to kind of be the person that deposits in it? Maybe if you don't get anything from it, or maybe he's calling you to walk away from it. Take inventory, take the brave step of doing whatever you feel like you're supposed to do in that friendship. But I think what we learned from Josiah is, don't be afraid to be vulnerable, yo. Take the risk, connect, and if it doesn't work out, at least you tried, and you can say you did it, you can move on to the next. We love you, and we'll see you at the next one. Peace.